Litter and marine debris are one of the biggest environmental issues facing us today. So it's basically all those everyday rubbish items. It washes into our stormwater drains, ends up into our creeks, and then eventually can travel thousands of kilometres out into the remotest areas of our ocean. Probably the most prevalent item that we find is plastic materials. Unlike other materials, it doesn't actually rot or break down, so all of the plastic that has ever been made is still out there in existence. The other thing about plastics is that while they don't break down or rot, what they actually do is they break up into smaller pieces, and we end up with what we call microplastics, so a huge amount of these very tiny pieces of plastic found throughout the ocean. The marine debris that enters into our oceans can have a huge effect on the environment. It's going to affect those really fragile ecosystems, particularly things like reef systems. But the other thing is that it can directly affect our wildlife. So you find that wildlife is getting entangled. The other problem is that it actually looks like food when it's in the waterways. So for instance, a plastic bag looks an awful lot like a jellyfish to a sea turtle or a bird, and they can actually ingest that material, and we're finding now that lots of animals are getting sick from ingesting this material, and we're actually even finding animals that have passed away, and when they actually do a necropsy on them, they'll open them up to find that they're full of plastic materials and other debris. Council has long realised that litter and marine debris are really important issues, and we're doing a lot to try and work with the community and address those issues. In the Foster area, we're looking at what's called Pennington Creek, and it's an area that runs right through the centre of Foster. In the past couple of years, we've actually removed over 4 tonnes of material from that site, and that's in conjunction with Hunter Local Land Services and Resource Recovery. Here in Taree, we've been working on the Browns Creek project, and it's a great collaboration between a number of local government organisations and community groups. So people like the Friends of Browns Creek, the Taree Indigenous Development and Employment Group, Hunter Local Land Services and Manning Landcare. And in this area, we've already removed over 960 kilograms of debris, really helping to clean up the Browns Creek area.
Hunter Local Land Services has been working on marine debris for a few years. We've been working with MidCoast Council to encourage lots of people to get involved in cleaning up their local area and then collecting the data from those cleanups so we can understand where that stuff's coming from. What I've really liked about this project is working with groups like Friends of Browns Creek. It's really great to see community so passionate about their local waterway, and they've put so much time and effort in.
We started in 2011, and that's when we thought we've got to do something about this creek. It's in terrible state.
There were a few issues like the graffiti and the trolleys and the debris that sort of did bother me, and I thought, well, we can help. And so we're helping, you know.
And we took vines out there and weeds, and it was really, and all kinds of broken bottles and rubbish and things like that. So that took us several years to work on that.
Bottles, plastic glass, paper, the plastic McDonald's containers for the drinks.
Huge amounts of rubbish came out, so, and we continue that today.
Well, we've partnered with Tangoa Blue, and whatever we find now, it's all been going onto a database. If there's something that is consistently coming up, then that's followed up to try and stop it at the source if it's possible.
We're in a sub-catchment in a town, and therefore a lot of street waste runoff. For years, Browns Creek has been nothing but an extension of the town's drainage system. And whatever gets caught up in drains and gutters, and it just gets washed down into Browns Creek, and that's where it ended up.
I think the guys from Friends of Browns Creek have done some great work in engaging with businesses and schools in the area and actually getting some good outcomes, and working together with council to improve the management of gross pollutant traps and things like that.
Council have been very supportive. There's some really good people in council here. We can borrow equipment and resources and things like that whenever we need it.
Yeah, another great aspect of the project has been working with Taree Indigenous Development and Employment, so the TIDE team, and they've been really great at helping with all the work we've been doing on marine debris.
We got involved through a local land service and Brian Hughes to do the cleanups on Browns Creek and a few other marine debris cleanups in the area. We did along Browns Creek up through the catchment, past behind the showground and up towards the industrial area, just monitoring any of the litter and debris that we could find in the waterways. A lot of the debris that we found is plastic bags, plastic bottles. A lot of the plastic's breaking up because it's been there for a long time.
People are becoming more conscious of it. We're finding that the creek is a lot better. They can see the wildlife, they can see the ducks on the creek, they can see water dragons, they can see owls, tawny frogmouth. There's a heap of wildlife in there. There was no way that people could get into it, so we built a bit of a boat ramp where canoes and kayaks and things like that can get into the creek and paddle backwards and forwards and enjoy the still waters in the creek.
Initially when we went to Browns Creek there was a lot of debris in the area. We've since found that going back regularly every few months the amount of rubbish decreases a lot. It's just amazing to see how much one person or a small group of people can do to an area if they just tidy up a little bit at a time. It's not only aesthetic but it's good for the environment also.
It's just a lovely resource right here in the middle of town, and we want to get it cleaned up and used, but people need to be more responsible. We want them to enjoy the creek but to respect it too. If
more people realise it's here and sort of get out there on the SUPs or kayaks or anything, and use it, that's all we're asking for,
We're really hoping that the stuff we've done in Browns Creek can show other parts of the council area and beyond, what can be done if the local community is actively involved, and what can be done when you have a look at what you're cleaning up and look through the data and then try and initiate some management actions as a result.
Hopefully what we're doing is actually affecting other people who want to actually take the same pride in their town